A patient goes to an ambulatory surgery center for a routine surgical procedure. As a result of something that was missed, the patient suffers brain damage and now has permanent, irreversible injury. You want to learn what this is about? Come join me as I share with you this great information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury trial lawyer practicing law here in the state of New York. There's been a lot of talk recently in the news because of Joan Rivers, the comedian, untimely death. And now there's a suggestion in the news that her daughter believes that the doctor who performed the procedure was careless and departed from good and accepted medical care. And now they're thinking of bringing a lawsuit. Well, let me share with you a story involving a case that I handled not long ago involving a patient who underwent a colonoscopy in an ambulatory surgery facility and ultimately wound up dying 2 days later. Why? Because the doctor and the anesthesiologist failed to recognize something very important during the course of that procedure. So here's what happened. She went in otherwise healthy. She had some rectal bleeding. And now the doctor was trying to find out the source of that particular bleeding. As the gastroenterologist was taking the camera with the scope, putting it through her bowel, he was having difficulty getting it past a certain point. The patient wound up vomiting some contents, fluid contents that was in her stomach. And unfortunately, in her next breath, she then inhaled that into her lungs, creating what's known as aspiration pneumonia. Aspiration means you're taking contents that shouldn't be there and now inhaling it right into the lungs. Pneumonia is where you have a foreign substance that's now invaded the lungs, and now you've got a problem. What the anesthesiologist and what the gastroenterologist didn't recognize is that this patient now started to suffer respiratory problems. The amount of oxygen she was receiving was greatly diminished, even though she had a device on her finger known as a pulse oximeter to tell the doctors exactly how much oxygen was perfusing throughout her entire body. And because the doctors didn't recognize what had happened, the amount of oxygen getting to her brain was severely diminished. And it wasn't until about 5 to 10 minutes later, when the doctor finally realized what was going on, did they stop the procedure. And now they put the patient in recovery, and amazingly, the anesthesiologist didn't think that her condition was serious. So what did he do? He let her sit there for about 40 minutes before finally realizing she could barely breathe. Only at that point did he then call for an ambulance, take her to the hospital, but by that point she had suffered significant brain injury because of tremendous lack of oxygen. So why do I share this great story with you? I share it with you because it's so similar to what happened to Joan Rivers, at least according to what appears in the news reports. So why do I share this great information with you? I share it with you to give you an insight and an understanding into what we look for when evaluating a wrongful death case here in the state of New York. You know, I realize you're watching this because you likely have questions or concerns about your own particular matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in New York and you do have legal questions, what I encourage you to do is pick up the phone and call me. This is something I do every single day, and I'd love to chat with you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, G-E-R-R-Y, at oginski-law.com. That's it for today's quick video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.